So thanks for the invitation. I'm working for EWE. It's a utility based in Germany. You'll find us outside at the exhibition and the team as well. So if you need any further information, please refer to us. I will talk about the infrastructure needs for finally making the hydrogen business successful. And of course, it's close to a mission impossible to bring new facts and figures to such an audience. So what I want to share with you is our key beliefs, our guiding principles, which guide us to our investment decisions, and based on the title of this presentation. First, starting and just very briefly, do we need any import from hydrogen in Europe/Germany? The clear answer is yes. I think you all voted saying yes, we need it. The question is to what extent. Listening to Marco's presentation just 50 minutes ago, and we cooperate, so we work together, he would say it's close to 100% because it's cheaper to import than to produce on-site or locally. I would say we do not believe in a 100% import scenario. We believe in a mix of local generation and imports. Why? Because energy policy is never a fully rational business. A number of decisions in energy policy are taken because of security of supply, certain other needs, and not only on economic rational perspectives. And that's why the security of supply, a certain generation of hydrogen in the respective country/Europe is on the agenda of politicians when it comes to energy policy. And so first, even independent of the economics, we see a mix of both local generation of hydrogen and imports. Second is, why do we see the mix? I think the jury is still out what the economics will be in the end. Of course, we may have ideas on the cost of transportation. We may have ideas on the cost of generation in Australia or North Africa or South America. But still today, it's not finally defined what the cost of the whole value chain will be. And second, I think what Marco was referring to the electricity prices in Europe. And I would add here that the relevant price is not the average baseload price across the year. We will see a high volatility in electricity prices. In a system with a high penetration of renewables, you see 1,000, maybe 3,000 hours a year with very, very low electricity prices when wind and sun is there. And you see 3,000 hours which are quite expensive. And if you run an electrolyzer, it's no need to run it full-fledged on 8,000 hours a year to maximize finally the economics. So if you run the electrolyzer during these cheap electricity price hours, you get a significant kind of economic out of this as well. So my message is it's a bit more complex than simply saying import is cheaper than local generation. And this is the reason why we see the mix of both. And the mix means that we need the infrastructure, we need the off-takers, we need the generation, we need the terminals to import. And this leads us to the kind of typical chicken and egg problem we have to overcome. And the question is, how do we overcome this? On PowerPoint, it's easy. You place an off-taker, you place a pipe, and you place an electrolyzer, and the business is done. In practical terms, it's a bit more challenging, especially when it comes to significant money you have to invest. And we are about, as EWE, we are about to invest in an electrolyzer and infrastructure site. It's more than 700 million euro we want to invest. We now wait for 2 years for the European Commission to come back to us and give the green light. Let me kind of give the opportunity here to have this message said. If Brussels discusses on what is the best answer on the IRA, our answer is simply give a green light to the investment we want to do instead of sending questions and waiting. Let us wait for more than 2 years, or for 2 years now on the green light there. So we want to invest, but of course we see the challenge on how do we organize the whole value chain from generation, transportation to the off-taker. If I start talking about the infrastructure, which is the title of this presentation, there's an example, and I want to use this as an example, how we do it in Germany right now. There's a cooperation of the TSOs, the gas TSOs in Germany, which are in charge of delivering a plan of a so-called core grid for hydrogen. It means it's a grid which shall connect the import terminals like Wilhelmshaven with the areas of significant off-takers, which could be steel manufacturing sites, industrial sites, storage facilities, and of course generation facilities. And this core grid shall be planned, built and operated by the existing gas TSOs. There were other ideas to make it a state-owned company. We still believe that market forces are the best supporters of making things happen. So we welcome the idea of having the existing TSOs delivering this. Of course, they have to deliver on this one. We expect the first plan, the first full-fledged plan for Germany to be ready in the next 4 to 6 weeks at the latest. By the way, today at noontime, Chancellor Scholz is meeting with the managing directors of the TSOs to express his expectation on really making this happen. If this works, it will give an obligation for the TSOs to build this H2 core grid, which is a mix of using existing pipelines and building new ones. We see this as a significant step forward to solve the infrastructure problem. If we recall the situation on the electricity side 10, 15, 20 years ago, I was working for a power TSO at that time. Everybody was talking about the new wind farms to be built, and everybody said, but we do not need additional infrastructure. Now we learn the hard way that not having the infrastructure or being late in infrastructure costs a lot of money and a lot of barriers for the development. And we do not want to do this fault second time by being too late with the infrastructure for hydrogen. So I'm really positive on the development there and see that we will get a core grid on hydrogen to combine import, production and off-taker sites. Still, it's not that easy if you go to the off-taker side to really get signed contracts today, because we are not able to guarantee volumes and prices right now. And an off-taker obviously is not willing to sign a contract without having a price and a guaranteed volume there. So in an iterative way, we have to start from talking to MOUs to kind of certain pre-contracts and step-by-step work into this. But I think the pressure on the off-taker side is high enough to kind of encourage them to make bold steps as well. When it comes to infrastructure, I was talking about the TSOs, which is of course highly relevant and necessary to start. We shall not forget the need for a regional hydrogen grid as well, because when we talk about off-takers, it's not only the big off-takers like steel companies and others, it's a lot of other industrial sites of companies, industrial companies and commercial companies which need green molecules. We see with our customers an increasing pressure that they need solutions for their carbon neutral strategy, and these solutions will be a mix of electrons and molecules. And if we talk about green molecules with them, they of course asked us, what is the chance of being connected to the hydrogen infrastructure? And this leads to the question, how do we organize the regional hydrogen grid as well? If there's no regional hydrogen grid, it could and would lead to an on-site generation of green molecules of hydrogen, which is possible and commercially viable as well in a number of cases. But in the end, we should be able to offer a combination of TSO and regional hydrogen infrastructure to meet the customer demands. A way to do this is one of the examples I want to share with you on an investment we do right now. We invest in a natural gas pipeline linking the mobile natural gas terminal in Wilhelmshaven with the existing natural gas infrastructure. And this LNG pipeline can be and will be obviously then converted into a hydrogen pipeline in a number of years. At the moment, the Wilhelmshaven terminal is converted into a hydrogen import terminal. We are able to convert this pipe into a hydrogen pipe, connect this pipe with our underground storage devices, and by this we have an infrastructure with an import terminal in Wilhelmshaven, a pipeline system which is able to take hydrogen on board, having an underground infrastructure we can convert into a storage facility for hydrogen, and then hopefully have further infrastructure in place to finally deliver the green hydrogen to our customers. This is the way how we look at the infrastructure play. I was mentioning the on-site generation on industrial sites, typically on industrial sites, which is always and can be a very valuable solutions for an industrial customer. One of the challenges we see, and I want to send this message here as well, is that the way we regulate and organize this process is quite complex. If you look at the regulation intentions of the Renewable Energy Directive 2 and 3 on Brussels, it's so complex to define when hydrogen is really green and how this potentially green hydrogen will be taken into account when it comes to carbon neutrality and all the other laws being in place or under discussion in Europe. It's very hard for a utility and very hard for a customer to decide what to do. The IRA is the kind of totally different approach by saying by a tax credit it's easy to calculate what the benefits are, while in Europe the plan is at a certain point in time the hydrogen is only green if it comes from a wind farm which is newly built, it's not too far away, and the number of prerequisites you have to fulfill, which makes it really hard to have a predictable business case for your investment. So the message we want to send as a utility, being ready and willing to invest in hydrogen, is to say, let's keep it simple in the beginning. There's time enough to talk about regulation at a later stage, but not trying to regulate everything on day one for what may be in place in 10 or 15 years. So this is something where we see clearly an over-engineering of what we do. To conclude with a more European perspective on this one, in my perspective, the hydrogen business is either a local or national topic. I just gave some examples on this one, or an international topic, which we just heard from Marco on importing hydrogen from other countries elsewhere. But it's not that much, in my perspective, a European topic. So we have to think more on how we can strengthen the European Union and the countries between us, because the strategies are totally different. Germany trying to rely on a renewable generation to finally generate hydrogen. France plans to build nuclear power plants to produce hydrogen, saying it's green, the discussion we see right now. So further alignment on European level will help here as well. This is the sum of the messages I want to send to you. Happy to take one or two questions, I think, with respect to time. And of course, happy to discuss further on during this conference. Thanks for listening.
Thank you very much, Urban, for having shared this with us. I see at the moment that there are no questions, and we are also almost running out of time. But as far as I know, you have a booth outside.
Yes,
so that means if there are questions, of course, everyone is welcome to visit you at the booth.
Thank you very much.